Welcome to eDiscovery Leaders Live, where I get a chance to chat with luminaries in eDiscovery and related areas. This broadcast is sponsored by Reveal-Brainspace, the industry's leading AI eDiscovery platform. Don't forget to subscribe to watch me, George Socha, weekly with leaders in eDiscovery. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to eDiscovery Leaders Live, hosted by ACEDS and sponsored by Reveal. I am George Socha, Senior Vice President of Brand Awareness at Reveal. Each week, I host eDiscovery Leaders Live, where I get the chance to chat with luminaries in eDiscovery and related areas. Typically, we do this Friday mornings, but this week we are broadcasting live from the Georgetown Advanced eDiscovery Institute in Washington, D.C. Or rather, I should say today we are broadcasting live. This is the first of 4 podcasts today. My guest for this first podcast, and before I forget, past episodes of eDiscovery Leaders Live are available on the Reveal website. Go to revealdata.com, select resources, then select eDiscovery Leaders Live. Now, my guest this morning is Chris Haley. Chris is Director of Litigation Technology at Troutman Pepper eMerge. And Chris, please expand on that, introduce yourself a little more, and let's talk first about eMerge.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I am, as you mentioned, I'm the Director of Litigation Technology for Troutman Pepper eMerge. And we are a eMerge, I'll probably refer to it most of the time, as a subsidiary of the law firm of Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders. And so we've formed this subsidiary for eDiscovery and other data management services to help our clients with whatever issues that they have that where the cross-section of legal and technology come into play.
So, let's start with the Troutman Pepper eMerge. So
yes.
Troutman and Pepper. I remember Troutman Sanders,
That's
Pepper
right.
and Hamilton, Pepper Hamilton, but they came together. When did that happen?
Yeah, it happened right before the pandemic. We merged Troutman Sanders and Pepper Hamilton together. It was a great fit. Good story for a merger. I think the two firms couldn't have been more aligned. And also our litigation support groups, eMerge on the Troutman side and the group that was on the Pepper side. We both functioned well, and it was a great merger for us. The only problem was it happened during a pandemic. So we spent the first 18 months or so of our merger not meeting each other, except virtually on a computer screen. So that presented some challenges. But because it was such a good merger and a good fit, it worked out really well. And in a merger like ours, you would hope that 1 + 1 = 3, and it did. So we've had tremendous success as a result of that, and having the merger of the two firms has been great.
Dare I ask, is it only 1 + 1 = 3, or is it 4,
it may
5,
be
6?
Hopefully it's more. I think it might be as closer to 4.
That's great. But eMerge, where did eMerge come from?
So
we came from the Troutman
That's
side,
right. We started eMerge 10 years ago. In fact, this is our 10-year anniversary this year. So in 2011, we started with this idea of, the vendors we were using at the time were just doing an okay job, and our litigation support team at Troutman was good, but never great because it was not a profit center, and we couldn't really invest in the technology and the people the way we wanted to. So we started to have this idea of how can we create a solution that really solves a dilemma for litigation support professionals and eDiscovery professionals. And so the co-founder, Allison Grounds, and myself, we founded eMerge with that idea of, in fact, the term eMerge came from how can we merge legal and technology? So Allison had been managing the litigation support group and the eDiscovery group from a consulting and document review perspective. And so we brought attorneys and technologists together to form eMerge. And we did it with the intent that we would be a profit center for the firm, and formed it as a separate subsidiary so that we could help clients even when they, of course, Troutman is the best law firm ever, and everyone should use Troutman, but there are times when clients choose to use other firms, but they could still use eMerge as a separate subsidiary to help them with that. So we get a lot of additional work outside of the firm or continued consulting work for clients even when they choose to use other firms.
How wide is the scope of the legal technology spectrum that you cover?
Yeah. When we started, it really was focused on e-discovery, traditional EDRM, from preservation around there all the way through to trial. But there's so many facets today with technology and the law across each other, and you need that expertise on both sides. That really almost every practice in our firm now benefits from eMERGE and the services that we provide, all the way from everything from information governance consulting, litigation readiness consulting, contract management, data privacy. Obviously, data breach review is a big component of new work that we're doing in the last few years. We're doing a lot of custom solutions and like data rooms and corporate mergers and acquisitions. There's a lot of data remediation work that has to happen in those situations. So a lot of that kind of stuff that's happening that really is making this an exciting time for all of us. It seems like every 7 to 10 years we go through this cycle, and there's this resurgence of awesome new technology and awesome new needs that make it exciting.
You are in every practice group, it sounds like, in the firm. I know from experience that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody in a practice group makes use of your capabilities.
That's fair.
How broad is your reach in that sense?
Well, it's growing. It's certainly, again, not every attorney at our firm always needs our services, or even sometimes even knows that we could be of service to them. And so that is part of an evangelism that we have to do, just like any group. And so it's a constant work in progress. We have laterals and new attorneys joining the firm all the time. So it's certainly an investment that you have to make. We don't have the luxury of having sales people or account managers. We do it ourselves. And so it's certainly a part of our jobs to continually evangelize and spread the word of how we might be able to help, and go to practice group meetings and stay in tune with listening for opportunities and try to help when we can.
How large is your group now? I imagine it started small.
Small,
it might still be small. It might be larger.
Yeah, we started with a few of us. I think 8 to 10 was the number, depending on when you put the timing of the start. And now we have over 80 of us. So we have grown significantly. So about 60 full-time attorneys and about 40 full-time about 50 full-time attorneys and 30 full-time technologists at eMERGE today. And so grown significantly, and also obviously in the expertise that we can offer because of the depth of our bench now.
Given that number of practice areas, there's not going to be any one day in the life here. That said, for the attorneys you have, we'll break it up into two groups. For the attorneys you have in eMERGE, what does their work life look like?
Sure. Most of the attorneys on our team are either we call them would be case manager roles or review manager roles. So they're either helping to manage and consult with and project manage cases. They're probably engaged in helping to determine preservation obligations, drafting legal holds, reviewing motions to compel and helping with responses, as well as managing the traditional e-discovery activities of a case. And then review managers, as you might suspect, are managing the reviews, and that may be reviews of associates and paralegals at our firm doing review, but most of the time it's either our own attorneys doing the review, or we don't call them contract attorneys, but project attorneys that will come in for a project-based role to review documents.
Then switching to the other side, the technology side, what does the stereotypical average day in the life of those people?
Sure. Well, on the technology side, we have much more varied groups. We have a traditional litigation support group that handles processing and imports and managing our review platform and running productions. But we also we felt it was strongly that we needed a data collection team. So we have a forensics collection team as part of it.
That's not, many firms go a different path.
They do.
No, we want nothing to do with collection.
Yeah.
You made a decision to be involved.
Yes, for two reasons. We don't always do the collections for our clients, but we can consult with them on doing it. And there's so many technical intricacies on how to properly collect to make sure you don't trip over yourself, that we wanted to have a team that was experts in that could consult with our clients. And then we really felt like the collection paradigm is broken, right? So many times we were over collecting the data, and by having a team and the tools that we could be more surgical in our collections, knowing that it wasn't such a burden if we had to go back because it was our own team. So data collection team is one of I think, to your point, is a very unique team that we have at eMerge. The other teams are legal technology, so they handle the more information governance. We help clients and advise them on data migration, especially when it comes to reducing risk for their legal holds and preservation obligations when they migrate from one system to another. So those types of projects. And then we have a custom solutions team, which also I think is fairly unique to what we do at eMerge. But we felt strongly that every matter and every client is so different that we wanted to be able to innovate rapidly to help them deliver very bespoke and useful solutions on a matter by matter basis, or client basis sometimes, but mostly matter by matter, where this particular matter needs this assistance, whether it's complex data analysis or we need to create a custom application to track this mass tort litigation. And so we're creating these custom applications to help solve problems.
Innovation in law firms has been a buzz phrase of late.
Yeah.
There are many who I suspect only talk the talk.
Yes.
There are a smaller group who walk the walk. You're walking the walk, I assume.
Yes, I think so.
Tell me how you do that. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, well, obviously it started small. We had to prove out that this was something that was worth investing in. So it started with, half of the time of a member of our team who had some interest in custom development to build solutions on top of a variety of platforms. But it now grown. We have 7 full-time custom solutions team members now, and we handle, the firm itself still has an innovation group that handles enterprise-wide or firm-wide innovation, but for us it's very client and matter specific, and in trying to create ways that make a difference, and are not only difference for our clients and helping them solve their problems, but also our differentiators for eMerge when we go to market. When we're pitching and drafting proposals, it really puts us in a different light as innovators to solve the problems that may exist in their matters. One of the recent innovations that I'm most proud of that we did was we had a client, it was compliance work where the client wanted to review thousands of employment eligibility I-9 forms to make sure that all of their hiring managers were filling them out properly and they were gathering the correct documentation. But they were all just scanned PDFs. And so it would have taken thousands of dollars to manually review those. But to make a long story short, we wrote our own application called Extractor that uses machine learning to extract all of the pieces of information, even in handwriting, from these forms, these PDFs, and put them in fields and basically turn it into an Excel spreadsheet where then you could sort and filter and look for those anomalies.
Yeah, very interesting. It sounds as if you are fortunate to be in the place you are at and the position you are.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think, well, one, I'll start broadly. Our industry has been so amazing. I think most of us probably would agree that we never thought about this industry and how we would fall into it. I certainly didn't. I wanted to be a Hollywood movie editor when I was growing up, and in fact, I stumbled into this career because I was editing videos for some people on the side, and this one guy kept bringing me these things called deposition videos that needed to be edited, and so I wound up getting into the legal technology field through that, and doing trial presentation and eventually jury consulting, and then in the early 2000s when e-discovery took off, I transitioned to technology, and so it's been a great opportunity for me and tremendous for that. But it's because of I had good mentors that pushed me to do more, and I had and I have a great team. We're fortunate to be surrounded by really, really great people that makes that possible. And in fact, going back to the eMerge story, one of the things that I think about often is that what makes eMERGE so successful was this perfect alignment at our firm of all the right people in all the right places, with all thinking the right things at the right time. We had to have firm executive leadership that was willing to take this chance and give us a chance to do something new and support us and be an advocate for across the partnership and to our clients for this. Allison, who's my boss and the co-founder, she's amazing and really had a drive and a passion and a vision for e-discovery and how we could do it better. And then a great team of people that could actually execute on the e-discovery challenges that we face. And so it takes all of that, but it's really exciting times for us. And it never seems to end. That's why I like this field. I get bored easy. And so there's no boredom here. It's always constant change between the law and technology, and just the challenges that we face that keeps it so interesting. That I love what I do.
What are some of the most interesting, exciting, compelling, intriguing, however you want to describe it, things that you and your team are working on now?
Yeah, I think constantly trying to do things faster, better, cheaper. I think trying to find automations and places where we can leverage advanced technology to make the routine tasks that we do in e-discovery either automated completely or at least faster and easier to do. That's certainly a big focus for us in how we deliver our services with quality and consistency. I think leveraging advanced technologies to like artificial intelligence and machine learning to solve problems, the extractor, like I mentioned a minute ago, like leveraging that. I think we talk a lot about AI and machine learning these days, but how you put it into practice is yet still a little murky, right? And so how can we create solutions that bring those technologies to make them easy to use and apply in the legal industry is something that's a big focus of ours through tools like that. So I could go on and on forever, but those are the ways that I think, and the challenges, and of course the
15 more minutes.
I think of just the new technologies. I'm here today. I'm speaking at the conference about all these collaboration platforms and challenges with Teams and Slack and Google Chats and how to deal with them, because there's still not a great clear way to do it. There's a lot of manual steps or processes. There's a lot of pitfalls if you don't know what you're doing or what you're looking for. So I think constantly trying to figure out those challenges.
So let's take those challenges for a moment. I think we're increasingly aware of what the challenges, or at least the big picture challenges, are. What would be an ideal solution in your mind to addressing those challenges?
Yeah, I think balancing education of our clients about their risks and the benefits of, they think about like Slack, and making sure they have the right licensing level and the right retention policies and how they're protecting their preservation obligations is one aspect. The other aspect, and the more practical aspect, is how do we get that data that's there into a review platform to review efficiently, and have it be available and reviewable in a way that paints a chronological picture across all communication platforms and communication sources. And I think that's the challenge today. Right now, when we're exporting from Teams, trying to get those Teams messages into a format that we can review them in our review platform is a challenge and is not clear, right? It's a little bit of trying to figure that out, and it's certainly not efficient. And so trying to find those solutions that will automate that to make it more efficient. So many times today, getting a little technical for everyone here. I think trying to we get a PST and you're not even expecting Teams messages, and all of a sudden there's all these team messages you weren't expecting to come into that PST. How do we catch that earlier? How do we intercept that and make sure that they're getting reformatted into a format that can be viewed? And so those are the challenges I think that we're wrestling with on that specific thing. But there's all kinds of new stuff out there. It's not just limited to collaboration platforms, but technology changes so rapidly. Every client has industry-specific technologies that present their own unique challenges. So trying to find ways that we can manage those is really a big focus of ours.
How much of what you do as a group is dealing and working primarily internally within the law firm? How much of it is working directly with clients?
I don't know if I could put a percentage on it, but it is equal parts for sure, or close to that. I think a lot of our work and a lot of our success comes from in the value that our clients drive is from our consulting with them directly and being engaged with them directly and them seeing some of our work. At the end of e-discovery, you don't get a red Corvette. In fact, at the end of e-discovery, if we do our job, you don't have a further problem, right? So, we have to the value proposition and how we have to demonstrate that value is very different in our field of services. So being in front of the client, consulting with them, helping them solve problems, and then also giving them feedback and guidance to help them solve or get ahead of future problems. When we learn something in this case, maybe you want to change your retention policy or change your practice for how you handle legal holds in the future so that we don't run into that same issue where it's more efficient in the future is a great way. And then with our own attorneys and that helping them, find the truth and get the information that they need more efficiently and effectively, staying out of their way sometimes, right, when it's appropriate, or helping them make these arguments in court that protect our clients and their interests, I think are huge ways where we can try to add value to that.
Not something we talked about ahead of time.
Sure.
But I was listening to the keynote talk this morning. Judges Grimm and Campbell were talking about a range of e-discovery related issues, and one of the things they spent a significant amount of time on was proportionality.
Sure.
You've got to be dealing with proportionality challenges as well all the time.
Yes.
How do you tackle this?
Yeah, well, I think you have to look at and justify what the burden is. I think so many times, when you hear about cases or hear about things that happen in our industry, people aren't articulating what the burden is in order to be able to assess the proportionality of the case, right? So I think we spend a lot of time evaluating the very specifics. How much does it cost, or how much effort, how much time is required to do this? How much does it cost to upgrade a license of Slack, right? From the free version to the enterprise version, so that we can use some tools to help you with this. And so that we can make those justifications, either because it is cost prohibitive, or it would cost more to argue this and fight it than to just do it. And so helping our clients do those evaluations by looking at the true cost, whether that be financial or just other resources.
Do you, I know this varies from firm to firm, but it tends to skew in one direction. To what extent, if any, do members of your team end up testifying, signing off on declarations or affidavits or the like, or are you insulated from that side of things?
Well, in that there is a little bit of a gray area because of our subsidiary status, right? We're a wholly owned subsidiary, so there is or could be perceived a conflict of interest for us if we were giving expert opinions in court, right? But we do have to provide affidavits and testimony related to the services that we provide. So when we perform a service, we will stand behind it and we back it up, and we will testify or provide affidavits as necessary to document what we do. When it starts to get into the expert testimony range, we refer to ourselves as a consulting expert, where we can provide consulting services. But a specific example is maybe you're trying to find deleted data on a laptop, right? Our team certainly has the expertise to do that and consult with you on what the findings are. But if you want someone to go into court and to testify about their findings and have to render an opinion on that, then we oftentimes work with partners to have them support
Then
the
an
teams.
outside resource makes much more sense.
You avoid those arguments that we have a reason to say what we're saying.
So, you have now been in this space for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You started out as we all do at the bottom. You've managed to climb up to the top. What is your vantage from this perspective?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I feel fortunate to be in the position that I am and to have found this industry and this career. And I've had a lot of great mentors and still do that help me and help guide me. And I try to give back too. I think that's, as I look at the, a little gray here, a lot of gray hair actually now. And, I've
Cut
been,
it shorter. People will see it less.
Yeah, it's been, I've been in this industry 20, 25 years. And so it's important for me to do what others have done for me, to do that for others. And so, how can I help them be successful? How can I help members of my team be successful? How can I help others in the industry be successful? And so giving back is something that's important to me. And also, our industry isn't going anywhere. We need to grow our industry. We need to find new talent and develop new talent. So I think of one of the things that we're doing that I'm proud of is we work with internships. We work with a program called Europe that finds people who perhaps maybe are disadvantaged or don't have the opportunities to find the career, or maybe are at risk of not going to school. And they give them 6 months of detailed professionalism and technology training. And then they place them for the second 6 months, year up, to as an intern. And so we work with programs like that, the Europe internship program, to find young talent. And it's been very successful for us. And we bring in an intern and basically get a 6-month interview with them to know if they're hungry, right? And so it's been a great system for us to find talent. I think we're currently 8 or 9 of our active technology team members came through that internship program.
Well, that's great.
And so it's really, really changed. And I feel good about it because we're helping people. It's a nonprofit organization. The firm feels good about it for those reasons. So it's a way that we can give back to our communities and help others.
It sounds like a win-win.
Find a successful career.
You're giving people value. You're giving people an opportunity they might otherwise never have had.
I didn't even know about it, right? Yeah. So it's been very rewarding for us. And then just obviously once members of our team, then just helping them develop as leaders. I've always had early on, I was fortunate enough. I had a boss one time that bought me this ticket to a conference, and I had no idea. I was young in my 20s and really thought it was a waste of time. But I went because he bought it and suggested that I go, and he had taken this big interest in me. So I'm sitting down at the conference, and this guy named Zig Ziglar was there. And that really started and propelled me in my career and thinking about what I want to do better. Zig Ziglar is a very famous leadership speaker, if you don't know him. His famous phrase is "see you at the top," and that if you help enough other people get to the top, we'll be there together. And so that's something that's driven me throughout my career. And so whether I'm volunteering in organizations like ILTA that I've done in the past and found very rewarding, helping with planning conferences and doing those kinds of things with ILTA, or just taking calls from peers in the industry, and we can commiserate and help each other find solutions to problems, or more specifically helping my team develop and become great leaders themselves, is something that I think is good for all of us to do as we give back to the career that's helped us.
Are you currently active in ILTA?
I am. I attend conferences. I'm not volunteering this year. Okay. Things got a little busy over the last couple of years.
That's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, especially for ILTACon. That's a major undertaking and I know, not because I've been involved in it directly, but because I've worked with folks like Julie Brown.
Yes, of
course. I know how much work that takes.
It does, but it's well worth it. I got so much more back from volunteering and helping with the conference and just networking, making deposits in the network bank to meet new people and grow my network. That it was great for all those reasons. And I highly recommend doing, if not that, things like that in our industry to give back, speaking at conferences and meeting with others.
Okay. Well, Chris, thank you
very
much. Chris Haley is the Director of Litigation Technology at Troutman Pepper eMerge. I am George Socha. This has been eDiscovery Leaders Live, hosted by ACEDS and sponsored by Reveal. Chris, thank you so very much.
Thank you.